Good afternoon, I'm Shania, and this is One News Now. Close contacts of the Filipino worker who tested positive for the UK variant of COVID in Hong Kong have been isolated. Health officials are now monitoring COVID-19 variants detected in other countries. Greg Gregorio with the story.
The health department has identified the close contacts of the 30-year-old OFW who tested positive for the more infectious COVID-19 variant in Hong Kong. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergara says her close contacts are now under quarantine and have been subjected to RT-PCR tests. Their specimen have also been sent to the UP Genome Center to check if any of them will test positive for the UK variant.
Ngayon po, yun pong mga naging contact retroactive, binalikan po namin yung kanyang lugar, inaalam po natin ngayon kung sino pa mula nung dumating siya dito sa Pilipinas.
Vergara chairs the newly created Technical Working Group on COVID-19 variants. They are monitoring other reported COVID-19 variants which have been detected in South Africa, Malaysia, and Nigeria. In an interview with One News the Chiefs, DOST's Dr. Jaime Montoya, who co-chairs the TWG on COVID-19 variants, assured the public that vaccines will still work despite these mutations.
Although it affects that particular region, hindi po ito major. And since the vaccines actually induce antibodies to the whole spike protein, ang changes kasi na na-identify is only parts of the spike protein, hindi yung buo.
The World Health Organization says at this point, there's no reason to believe that a new variants will have any impact on vaccines. The WHO notes that more vaccine candidates will be included in its emergency use listing in the coming weeks. Its solidarity trials in the Philippines will begin by end of January or early February, although participating vaccines have yet to be named. DOST Undersecretary Rowena Guevara says the government is currently in talks with 25 bilateral partners. Russia's Gamaleya has withdrawn its application for late-stage trials for Sputnik V in the Philippines.
Napakasimple ng rason nila. Mag-a-apply na sila ng emergency use authorization. Kaya hindi na sila magki-clinical trial dito.
Currently, only Pfizer and AstraZeneca are the two vaccine manufacturers that have already applied for emergency use authorization in the Philippines. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
A newly formed technical working group under the IATF has begun monitoring COVID-19 variants. TWG member Dr. Anna Ong Lim said they will look closely at the mutation of the virus, not just abroad but also here in the country. In an interview with One News' The Chiefs, Lim warned that the UK variant alone might result in an increase in deaths rather than infections.
So the group was actually convened to monitor not just this particular variant but also to keep an eye on any changes in the virus biology that might have an impact in terms of how the disease plays out in the community. Who knows, in a couple of days, a couple of weeks, we might have a Philippine variant.
Did it come to pass, Professor?
In the same program, UP Octa fellow Guido David claimed that public compliance with health protocols is lower than what surveys say. According to David, the 93% compliance rate among NCR residents is actually 10 to 15% higher than the number of those who comply.
Sometimes there's a difference between perception and reality. Ako, I feel na the face mask naman ako, pero most of the time nasa baba pala. Then, it doesn't count. But at least, if the 10% is across the board, then that will help us then discern other, survey results such as cleansing of hands, face shield, avoiding crowded places.
COVID-19 cases in the country rose to more than 483,000 on Friday. The health department reported more than 1,700 new infections today, the highest daily jump this month. Some 25,000 cases are still considered active. Bulacan had the most number of fresh cases with 99, followed by Davao City and then Quezon City. The virus killed 8 more patients today, bringing the death toll to over 9,300. 200 recoveries were reported, bringing the total tally to those who got better from COVID-19 to nearly 450,000. We're going to pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Stay tuned. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. More devotees of the Black Nazarene are expected to flock to the Quiapo Church despite the cancellation of the traditional procession. Let's check in on the situation with our news correspondent, Romel Lopez. Romel, how is the crowd situation over there?
Yes, Sean, we're still seeing number of devotees flocking to the Quiapo Church despite the threat of COVID-19. Church authorities and volunteers are saying that they're trying their best to impose the health protocols. Sean, a day before the feast of the Black Nazarene, devotees have started lining up to enter the Quiapo Church. The line stretched to Quezon Boulevard from the church entrance along Villalobos Street. According to authorities, around 6,000 people come and go every hour in the vicinity of Quiapo Church. We were able to talk to some of the Catholic faithful who came here earlier today. Among them was a devotee who traveled all the way from Davao City just to see the image of the Black Nazarene. For some of them, not even the COVID-19 pandemic can stop their devotion, which has become for them a religious tradition. To mitigate the possible spread of the virus, security personnel and church volunteers have been deployed. They say that they are trying their best to maximize their capacity to impose health protocols such as physical distancing. Sean, church authorities are reminding the public not to bring huge replicas of the Black Nazarene. Aside from the inconvenience, they say that it is also likely will cause convergence and gatherings of devotees. As for the liquor ban, NCRPO Chief Vicente Danao says and clarified that it only covers Manila and not the entire NCR starting midnight tonight. Sean?
All right, thanks for that update and that clarification. Romel Lopez reporting to us live from the Quiapo Church in Manila. And a church official is discouraging devotees from going to Quiapo on Saturday for the Traslacion. Monsignor Hernando Coronel of the Quiapo Church says they don't want the public exposed to COVID-19. Instead, Coronel is urging the Catholic faithful to participate in alternative festivities at home or in their local parishes. For one, he says the traditional procession of the Black Nazarene in Quiapo may be celebrated in other churches as pagdalaw.
dinidiscourage po namin na pumunta kayo sa simbahan. Nagtataka kayo ng Quiapo, sa simbahan ng Quiapo, sapagkat nasa pandemic tayo at tayo'y minumungkahi matlakas na rekomendasyon na sundin po natin ang mga IATF health protocols.
In other news, the Makati hotel where Christine Dacera and her friends spent New Year's Eve insists that it has no liability over the death of the flight attendant. The establishment is being probed for allowing leisure activities, even if it has been designated as a quarantine facility. For the latest, Shaila Francisco joins us live from Mandaluyong. Hi, Shaila. What exactly did the tourism department have to say about this?
Sean, the tourism department says the response of City Garden Grand Hotel has left them with many questions. The DOT says it contradicts to the evidence presented on the case on the death of flight attendant Christine Dacera. In its 4-page reply, the Makati Hotel denied violating any IATF policies, maintaining that they didn't accept guests for leisure purposes. The hotel also insisted that they have no liability on the incident. According to the establishment, the persons involved in the incident were included in the list of guests permitted inside. But DOT NCR Director Woodrow Makiling is not sold. He said that the CCTV footages, as well as the statements from the police and persons of interest, say otherwise. Makiling added that if those involved were indeed permitted guests, then there should have been limited movement. And with the hotel serving as a quarantine facility, guests should not have been allowed to go back and forth the rooms and invite guests. The DOT NCR conducted a physical investigation on Friday upon receiving the hotel's response. The agency is hoping to come up with a resolution by next week. If found guilty, the hotel could face a 6-month suspension or a revocation of their certificate of authority to operate. Aside from the DOT, the Makati City government has already sent show-cause notices to the City Garden Grand Hotel for allowing accommodation for leisure purposes. It was also found that the hotel accepted a New Year buffet dinner reservation and accommodation to another guest on December 31. Sean, an official from the City Garden Grand Hotel, didn't issue any statement and says they are not allowed to divulge any information on the matter. We'll just have to wait for the official announcement and statement from the hotel. Sean?
All right, again, another wait and see. Thanks so much for that update, Shaila Francisco, reporting to us live from Mandaluyong City. In world news, outgoing U.S. President Donald Trump has conceded for the first time, the day after his supporters stormed the Capitol. In a public address, Trump acknowledged that a new administration headed by President-elect Joe Biden will be sworn in on January 20. His remarks came after hundreds of rioters breached the Capitol and attempted to stop Congress from certifying Biden's victory. Calls for Trump's removal from office came immediately after the upheaval, as several lawmakers, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, blamed the incumbent president for the riot. Trump had earlier tweeted a warning that it's going to be wild on January 6, which was taken as an effort to orchestrate the Wednesday night attack. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.